what to do.
So I'd say that was like the world record most stressful
Start to this.
start.
Yeah.
What do you find stressful when machines don't work?
I find now that it's only machines, it's super stressful. Before, when you were stressed about it, I was like, it's fine. Because
you know what I find stressful?
What?
Is it when it's not fine and you keep saying that it's fine?
Well,
because then I can't tell what's happening.
That's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy.
Yeah.
But it's still a coping mechanism.
I know, but I'm trying to follow what's working and what's not working. And then you tell me it's fine.
Nothing's working.
But that's sarcasm. You're like, it's so not fine. I'm going to sing about it.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, like I'm struggling.
The coping mechanism, I'm telling you, it's actually a way for me to try to just like keep plowing through, like just keep swimming.
Right.
And everything's fine.
Right. So you and I are in the water and a shark is coming. You're going to sing, it's fine. And I get a leg bitten off because I'm all like, she said it was fine. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. But I'm there in the water too.
That doesn't make my leg stick back on.
Just say I'm there with you.
Maybe you are the shark.
Oh.
We're bickering. There's like lots of people with us here. That's how we do things around here.
Okay. So the letter M, I like the idea of magic. You've been experimenting with indigo.
Can anybody hear us?
Paint. Thank you, Kelly. I showed it too.
Kelly, can you hear my voice?
Hi, Theo. We just love you so much, and we're just very grateful for everything. Are you guys making art? Kelly said we can hear you. There's Kelly. I'm gonna click her in. You're gonna click her in? Perfect. Okay. So you've been experimenting with indigo and just the sheer magic and majesty of that.
Mm-hmm. We did a mini auction at 9 last week. Do you want to do another mini auction? At 9 o'clock? If you guys stick with us or come back at 9, we will have a mini auction at 9 o'clock. Why are you...
I'm like, look how I'm frozen. I'm not sitting like that anymore, but I'm frozen like that, and it's horrible. Can you get my face off the screen?
No. What I would love, though, is if we get this computer booted up for next week.
Hi, Neil.
Where's Neil?
If you're referring to nerds, we're here for it. Unfrozen now. That's so good. Thanks.
Want to see a movie, Neil? What would you rather see? A movie about the color blue or Space Hero X? What do you think? Space Hero X? Oh, we have a neat storyline building right now. Here we go.
Oh, you tell this week.
Dad?
That scream though. Do you want to click the away?
Yeah, I'm curious actually at this point. Theo, you're with us?
That scream though.
Kelly? Where is
Do you want to click the away?
Yeah, I'm curious actually at this point. Uh-oh. Theo, you're with us?
That scream though.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Where is
Do you want to click the away?
Yeah. Who?
There.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Kelly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you watch the Space Hero X?
Yeah, I did.
Did it freeze in the middle for you? Because I got two screens on and it rolled pretty smoothly off of one and froze on the other.
No, it was fine for me. I was watching it.
Okay. We got to zap parameters on the desktop.
She's a slow Bessie today.
I thought Theo would think that was a cute comment.
Zap parameters. All right.
Is it too soon to watch the?
I was gonna say, guess what? If we're looking at M, and today is Mom's birthday.
Mom's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Nice.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Theo, can you hear me? Right. Theo,
If we're looking at M, and today is Mom's birthday.
Theo, can you turn the sound off? I want to talk to you. Theo, can you hear me? Right. Theo,
If we're looking at M, and today is Mom's birthday.
Theo, can you turn the sound off? I want to talk to you. Theo, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Right.
Theo, if we're looking at M, and today is Mom's birthday.
Theo, can you turn the sound off? I want to talk to you.
Hang on.
Theo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, is this like I got I'm gonna count down from 3 and then you get to 1. Ready? 3, 2.
1.
Nice, we're in sync. Hey, I was at an event and they were looking at old banners from the school district we go to work in, and I developed this that banner for one of the schools I worked for. The other banner was my mom's school when I was in grade 5. They commissioned her to do the design for her banner, and I came up with the design for that. Now, I might have seen somewhere in the world the logo of the boys and girls going around the planet holding hands. But it was a drawing I was intrigued to do. So that particular school, St. Jude, had a world with a book in the center, and then these little figures that went all the way around in a circle and held hands. To draw that in grade 5 would have been pretty difficult for me to do with a compass and pen and ink. What I did was I pixel by pixel drew my little figures and rotated them, I think 7 degrees, so that I could copy paste them each time rotating 7 degrees to complete the circle, which we used to make. I printed that out and I traced it with a pen and ink. But I was trying to remember. I did that on an Apple II Plus, and I'm trying to remember what the drawing program on an Apple II Plus was called.
It's probably I want to say Quick Draw, but that's not it. But it was a paint program,
right,
of some ilk that Apple actually, that was Apple's stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was telling somebody I did it on Mac Paint, and I was like, you know what? It's even before a Mac. I did it on an Apple II Plus, and I just remember that to get the little people to go around in a circle, I used I rotated each one 7% when I copy and pasted them. So I had a digital rotation as well.
Very cool.
Is somebody close to a heart attack, or is that me?
Hi, Amanda.
Pardon?
There's a heartbeat on the feed. Oh, it's your.
Oh, hang on. I have music playing.
That was really good news.
That might be a little better.
A little better, yeah. It sounded like a heartbeat.
It was a bass line.
Just like a heartbeat.
It is so strange. Which screen is? We've got two computers in front of us, and they're freezing at different times. I'm wondering what the rest of the world is saying. Actually, I guess after the broadcast, it'd be healthy for us to watch it. Sometimes we watch the broadcast where we're padding up, and we get a better sense of what it's like to be viewers. You know what? This is going to sound terribly arrogant. I'm actually surprised at how not boring the broadcast is. It's highly watchable, if I do say so myself.
You guys have a lot of stuff happening, you know.
You want to see some stuff?
I'm always interested in stuff. By the way, thank you for the paintings.
Yay!
We love you.
I've already put one of them in a book of stuff.
Yay!
Actually,
you want to see our book? Is it nearby?
Do you want to show paintings or your book?
I was going to show a video of the blue.
Perfect. That's a great idea.
Want to see some blue video?
Yeah, Neil said he likes blue.
Alrighty, present videos. Here we go. It's a bit long, so we'll see in a little while. It's not that long. It's a few minutes. Not what you thought, eh?
No.
Or are we just going to guess our own proportions? Let's just guess.
I don't think, yeah, because they also said to do, that this isn't the way they said to do it. Water with the indigo first, and then you mix the water indigo solution with the gum arabic. Like boiling, should I boil water? I'm going to go boil water.
You know what? Can you grab that in the bathroom?
The Moroccan.
Yeah, the Moroccan?
Yeah. I bought another container of that.
What do you think the indigo looks like up close?
Like little crystals. Yeah, I think. So indigo is derived from leaves. So I think. Whoa.
Not what you thought, hey?
No. So do you think they're like that because it was derived from leaves and then broken down?
They're so much
chemically?
more beautiful through the lens than through the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, you put oil in, and it's out of focus now because, I gotta refocus it. Oh, no, I gotta refocus the projector. It's okay. Okay, I just blew, and the dust goes away so fast. Oh. The bubbles are starting to, like, dissolve.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of look like...
Look.
No!
So this is argan oil.
Yeah, just a second.
And then we're going to experiment with gum.
It's not a Fibonacci, it's a Mandelbrot set.
Fractal?
Yeah, they're fractalizing. 100% they're fractalizing, and then when there's air bubbles, the air bubbles are touching...
They're connecting all of the beads.
That's weird.
Oh, whoa. Do you see that one?
I like another universe. What did we bring to mix it?
I can get something else.
That's exciting to see.
Oh, look how, wow.
Okay, so yeah, it is weird. Once you've mixed it, it kind of takes on a life of its own. Like the pieces are kind of like spreading out, and then when they touch,
It's
and it stains
whoa,
so well.
It's beautiful.
All right, I know what I'm doing with the rest of my life.
Yeah, we can experiment with different oils even.
Well, the Moroccan oil, no, it's fine. The Moroccan oil might be a little bit more like watercolor than gum arabic. Oh, that's fast.
So the gum arabic is like the binder. So so water and gum arabic, the ratio, what I was reading was dictates how the pigment settles in the piece. So if it settles near the edges of where you put the water, or if it's, you know what I mean? Like how it disperses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, I bet with the argan oil, then you end up having different different settling when it dries. So like if, here I am gonna go boil some water.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Are you boiling?
Yeah, boiling water. Then to see what changes when you boil water and mix the indigo first and then add oil.
So you think boiling it's going to make a huge difference?
I think, so boiling the water
Because
and,
I'll tell you what I
and
find.
mixing the indigo.
Oh, it's stained the whole thing. That is a good dye, if that's what you want. If you're looking for a dye, here it is. Maybe I need a wipe.
I was gonna say,
Okay, so what doesn't appeal to me about boiling water
yeah.
is if it works way better with boiled water, using the inferior whenever I'm on site, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm not near a kettle.
But we could pre-boil the water and mix it in the boiled water and then have it with us.
Oh, you're putting hot water?
Oh, it's okay.
It's worthwhile to do cold water.
Yeah. Do you want some of this?
What is that? No, I'm like,
Building up to that?
you have no idea. You even met me? Okay.
That's gorgeous.
I think that's enough. Actually, that's pretty good.
Do you want me to order? No, I guess we don't even need
Say the words.
the flat mixer, the mortar.
I think so.
Yeah? Okay.
All the stuff. I can't believe how beautiful that is.
Also, did we ever crush up lapis and make a...
That is not my thing.
I feel like that would be too much.
I feel like with the lapis, it's kind of more like whipping yourself.
Right. Unnecessary. Stop whipping yourself.
When you're doing it for the sake of like drama.
Do you want more water in there? Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I love about this. Is
Right.
it's not about drama at all.
It's just being able to play.
It's just the joy.
Yeah.
Oh, the water's instantaneous. Way faster than the oil. Look at that.
Oh, okay. So just the water. Let's see how that dries. Because that dried really beautifully. Like that's not...
No, I like the water better than the oil.
Okay.
And I can drink it.
Yeah, do you think that people end up and they make it unattainable, and then when I research like gum arabic and making your own things, they make it really like, look how it's drying already. Oh my god. Maybe we're looking for something more pure too. So it's like some people are like they want to be magicians, but we want to be, what am I trying to say? Yeah, fronting. Oh, Mueller is the word, sorry.
What is? Yes, I want a Mueller.
Yeah, that's the word. Look, that's just about our name.
What?
Tehaux.
I like it way more with water than oil. The oil has kind of like a gritty, gross feel to it.
Mm.
The water is smooth. This painting had some stain in the brush.
Oh, look at that.
Want to know something nice? It's turmeric.
Oh my god.
I just happen to have turmeric in this brush.
No.
Turmeric and indigo. I don't think I'm going to mix mine with gum arabic. I think I'm going to go with water. Unless the gum arabic does something exceptional in the next 10 seconds. You need so little of it because it turns black right away. Can you just look up and see if there's anything inherently poisonous about what we're doing? Gum arabic.
Causes skin and eye irritation.
I love skin and eye irritation.
Avoid breathing dust. It's I would say similar to like
Everything else.
clay or yeah.
Okay.
Poisonous compounds. Indigo contains specific toxic compounds such as indigo dye and alkaloids. These compounds can disrupt normal body functions, leading to
Alkaloids.
serious death issues when ingested or improperly handled.
All right. If I mangled this enough, it would turn into oil paint or something
Is
like
that
it.
the gum arabic?
Yeah. So it's more like ink with the gum arabic. Like it's very inky.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, what is the texture is...
Oh.
Whoa.
That, would I compare that to like watercolor?
Well, gum arabic is the base of watercolor, so I would. And then does it pull nicely when you add just water to that? Oh.
I'm gonna say the gum arabic is the ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like the water is beautiful, but the gum arabic I think has that like binding.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's tree sap, isn't it? Gum arabic.
Absorbed into the flesh.
Accidental ingestion of the leaves or roots is the most common.
I'm not gonna do that.
Especially if someone mistakes it for edible plant. Skin contact with the sap can lead to a localized reaction causing irritation.
We're not touching sap.
Inhaling smoke from burning indigo
Let's not burn indigo.
can pose a respiratory risk. So we're fine.
We're never fine. But
Well,
yeah.
for what we're doing, we're safe.
For what we're doing, this is no worse than usual.
Yeah, like it's the same. Like you don't need the paint,
That sounds so stupid.
but it's
But you put your indigo in your coffee all the time.
Right.
You put your watercolors in your coffee. When you buy watercolors, they're like, no, this isn't that bad so long as you don't eat it. And then you friggin' put it in your coffee cup.
yeah. See, look at that. That's like the expensive watercolor paint, and that's just the gum arabic, right? And then mix water to pull it.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful that is. when it's settled. Ah, beep, beep, beep.
What are round balls? Oh, you put oil in, and it's out of focus now because, I got to refocus it. Oh, no, I got to refocus the projector. 100%. I'm using that for my lost history too. I feel like with the lapis, it's
Unnecessary steps. Oh my gosh, look at that. What you just did.
What did I do?
Rich.
What did I do?
Magpie. So we're going with the second where I think every other week we change the letter because then we have more time to do like content and like think about life.
Well, it was more that with the 2 hours I found, I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying, for me, it was more that there's too much for us to, I still felt like we were pretty raw with wanting to explore an idea.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but it wasn't that we needed more time because time's pretty solid nowadays. It's just I want more time with the concept.
Yeah, totally.
There was one moment where we're like, oh, we didn't really feel like we're rushing to get that next letter done. It's like I actually sort of feel like I'd like to visit with that first idea a little more.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, there's a couple things happening right now. For one, I am painting with my homemade. By that I mean all I did was pour a few things together that I ordered. But I did mix my gum arabic with some indigo. The fun part is that we have a microscope, which I have because I like to check out my record needles with it. But it was also pretty nice to get the microscope over top of the indigo as it was becoming fluid instead of, oh no, lost camera.
Nope, it came back up.
Oh no.
So that was really fun.
Are you reading this?
This weekend. Discord server. Maybe we won't know that Discord's going public. What do you think, Rich Teru?
That's a fantastic thought. I guess the way I would go with that is I prefer the idea of people coming together and joining us live if we're doing this. We could totally become bloggers, right? Like that could be a thing. But even just right now, managing something as simple as my Facebook page, I leave it for a few days, and these kooks come in and write nasty shit. And everybody's entitled to their nasty shit, but I don't like being a venue for people that are out of their mind to spread information. So let's say we had a Discord server, some sort of like platform, right? And then we build a following, and then people are using our following to communicate. And then they're like, oh, you know who's a great mark? Lets people speak their mind. Leaves room for me to put my crazy ass shit. Sorry about my language, by the way. And Neil, that's not you. I know for sure. I trust you with my life. But the idea that we could be building a community that kind of sits in a space where, I don't know, like this idea that, strangers come and leave messages on your feed when you're away is
what do you think?
It's disheartening. What's that? It's your grandma. I love it. Did you finish your coffee?
No.
Oh, am I drinking your coffee?
Yeah.
You're saint.
Yeah, I think that's
It's funny that I don't like my food hot and you don't like it cold, so we're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Did that answer the question, Neil? I think it's a rock solid maybe. What does that say?
Moderators, invite only roles, permissions, etc.
It's not a terrible idea. It's actually a good idea in general. I just think we're kind of trying to build something a little more maybe intimate, where my dream is I'd love it if everybody got an account on YouTube and came and talked with us online. It's a little bit like when we were running Gorilla House, and the idea like, hey, have you considered putting it online? We're like, no, we want to be somewhere where people come to. Where are you going?
I was gonna take the cups away and get more stuff, and then.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Can my more stuff be coffee?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Anything.
Love it.
Yeah. Keep going.
I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, we didn't want to like leap too quickly into having an online presence for Gorilla House because we really wanted people to come into the building. Oh, and then that one guy, I forget his name, it's probably for the best, said to me one day, like, have you ever put it? He's like the 100th person to say, have you thought about putting this online? And I was like, no, I don't want it online. And then we put it online because of COVID. Do you remember this, Jess? And then just recently he came and he was like, hey, you remember when I gave you that idea to go online? I'm like, oh my God. I'm so frustrated. However, okay, so we could totally become more of a space for sharing, and I guess it'd be almost like you'd come like a Reddit, I think, like you'd kind of have ongoing discussions. But right now, I'm really eager for the idea of people to use their voices and come and join us, like in real time. Not in the real, but in the real time. And that might not happen, but I'm jonesing for it.
Well, Rich, isn't that what happens with live studio?
You mean like this?
Yeah, I know you can only put 10 people on, but
we got it. We got an extended version, and we can get more than 10 people on. It's a matter of right now. Okay, well, a couple things. Our demographics have shifted quite a bit, right? Like our numbers have gone up, but they've also gone down. So I think there's a handful of like people that were only interested in, say, Rumble House for the sake of selling their stuff.
Yeah.
And once that option went, they went way really fast. But there's more people that have joined us since we've opened that have left us, but there's quite a turnover happening, right? And currently we don't have the same, like, even with the just the people watching right now, a lot of people are watching us after the show is done, which is over the week we go from 100 people to and our numbers are really weird because, like, I even got some help understanding our numbers, but the help I got was based on the premise that we're putting on a show that's like a couple minutes long, right? And the fact that our numbers are for 2.5 hours, we have like a ridiculous retention staying time for the amount of time we're on air. And some of our numbers are even inverted of what you'd expect. So there's more views than there are viewers is one thing. The reason there's more views than viewers is the way the software set up to understand it is they would assume somebody watched it twice, But my interpretation is way more likely that instead of watching it twice, they started it, took a break, and started it again. I think that's kind of my best guess to what might be going on.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty nice that people are watching it. Yeah, I love the idea of like just interacting with Unio. I would rather have a few good friends on this than like a million strangers. And I'm not against having a million strangers, but right now it's pretty sweet the way we're doing it. And since there's no expectations or obligations, it's kind of nice for us to be a little bit intimate. And it's growing faster than we want it to, so that works. I was showing the numbers to Felix, and he kind of freaked out a little bit. I actually freaked out a little bit as well, too, because it reminded me of WKRP in Cincinnati when Johnny Fever realized people were really listening. It was the episode where he suggested they stick I don't know what I said. I got a text.
Sticking what?
Something.
What
should be in this picture with these two birds? What would be like the best? A beer bottle, a beer can, a pop bottle.
No.
What might they be sitting and discussing?
Do you remember you did a series of birds taking over the universe, and they were sitting on their plans, and it was like overthrow the humans.
I can do that next, but what should these two guys be interacting over?
They'd just be having a conversation.
How about a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken?
No.
Put in some word balloons and go from there. Hey, you want to see something neat?
Yes.
This is a whole swack of adhesive back paper that I got out of a sample sheet or a sample book from a printing shop that no longer exists. So I'm going to have fun with that. I like sticky paper.
Oh, sticky paper.
That's wonderful.
And now back to our
irregular
camera.
That's lovely. Sticky paper.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. What was I going to say about it? I had some big thoughts. Oh, yeah. Here's one. I was talking to my class about some of the big lessons I've learned in my life. And a lot of my big lessons came from like friends of mine who paid to go to like lessons say in New York or something. I remember one of my friends came back from New York and I said, "What'd you learn there?" He's like, "I guess it cost like $2,000 to take this course." I said, "Well, what did you learn in this course?" And he'd gone on to say that they had some good tips in this painting class he took. One of them was, when you use warm objects, you should use cool shadows. I was like, well, you could probably have saved your money and just got that off of YouTube. And then he said, there's also another one where you learn about how if you put the opposite hue into your objects in shadow. So if you're painting an orange ball, it's nice if you use a green shadow. For just flipping those things. And I thought, well, that's also nice. Isn't that nice as well? We met Alexander Elliott in LA, and he introduced us to the concept of sight and insight from his book, which is to say every painting needs to be a thing that is seen and a thing that's not seen. And I do find keeping that at the front of my mind whenever I'm making a painting is I got to remind myself that everything needs to be a thing that is seen and a thing that is, if it's not decoration, right, there needs to be a meaning that isn't on the surface. Everything needs a soul.
Yeah. Now,
there are certain little things I keep to myself that I don't tell everybody. But if I have a group of students that are pretty advanced and they kind of think they know everything, and I want to one of the things that I don't really talk to my friends about, I gave away this week, and I'm okay if they forget it, right? One of those things is, well, I guess, like I said, there's little tips like alternating, flipping the either the warmth or the coolness or the actual color of your shadows and your objects. The other one is I was one day a little curious about Florentine painting, and I did a little research, and I learned the superpower of gray. That if your painting is getting too loud, you can add a little gray. If your colors are a little too wild, you can add a little gray. If your colors need boosting, you can add a little gray. If your colors need toning down, you can add a little gray. Like 50% gray in any painting will give that kind of silence you need. That'll add more sense to whatever you're doing. It's kind of just a neutral, like one of those Zen sounds people do when they're doing yoga.
Yeah.
Now all of those are little tiny tips. But then I gave them out the textbooks and I said, go through these textbooks and find a picture that speaks to you. And I know this is a challenge because I'll also point out, like, I know you guys are struggling with these textbooks because these are art history. They're the greatest paintings that ever existed. But you also live in a world where you had 4 Spider-Mans visiting on a bell tower where they're about to have a battle, right? Like their expectations of the world are so high because they're super stimulated to and see and perceiving things.
Right.
I said, but I'll tell you, there's a difference between a good painting that can be in an art gallery and the paintings that end up in the art history books. And there is a consistency that every single art history painting has. There's one thing they all have in common. And then I also know this. For everything I tell the kids in my class, they will immediately say they already knew that. So you learn the task of saying, do you already know the one thing that all art history books have in common? And I pulled this on Jesse earlier today. Can you think of something that all art history books have in common?
Well, earlier
Don't you give my idea.
I said I don't know. Like I have this feeling, but I
feeling.
don't.
What is the actual thing though that they all have in common?
What you said to me?
No, I didn't say it. I would just say it.
Yeah. No, I said I don't know. I said like.
Now this is probably written down in lots of art books, but nobody taught it to me, and it was sort of like a revelation I came to maybe about 10 or 15 years ago. Theo, can I just throw this question at you?
Yep.
It's kind of a bear trap. When you think about the art history textbooks and how a lot of those paintings seem boring to us right now, there is one concept you can add to each of those paintings. And then when you add this one concept to each of these paintings, they regain their relevance. Can you think of the one difference between a really good painting that's in an art gallery or on a live broadcast and a painting that makes it into art history?
One difference.
Yeah, the one overall arching difference that makes a masterpiece into a masterpiece.
I sort of work on the philosophy that whatever gets into an art history book is what the writers and the publishers and everybody liked at the time this was created. So all through art history that we see in an art history book is what was popular at that particular point.
You're talking about the tastemakers.
I don't even know anything about tastemakers. I'm just talking about from art history. We get, for example, most of your European art from, the 1200s to say, the mid 1800s. Most of that was commissioned by the wealthy, and in particular, the royalty. And that's most of the stuff that's still around. It wasn't until around 1850 that suddenly artists started doing stuff that wasn't in a classical vein, and suddenly that was hugely, controversial. Yeah, and a ultimately, but it became popular for whatever reason. And that got into the art history books. I don't know. Art history to me is, like I say, it's, whatever was popular at a given time, that's what gets into the art history books. Because that's what's still hanging around.
But let's talk about this in context of that's how they got here. And then we might talk about why they still matter. So I've got this picture here. I've got this picture. Both of these are pretty dynamic pictures. I don't think I'd have a hard time pitching either of these to my students. This is, I'm going to say on its surface, maybe a little boring. And this is one of the most important things. This is George Brock. I have a George Brock on the wall over there, and maybe I'll bring it over. But this is exciting me personally because it's the art history that mattered to me.
Okay, let me give you my thing. I really like the one on the left. I like that because I like its combination of the white of the sculpture and the background that's going through a tonal transition. I can't really see the George Braque from here. It's kind of muted. Are those birds?
Oh, no, it's a guitar and a vase.
A guitar and a vase. Yeah, so I can't even see that from here. So, again.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you want to see a real George Brock?
How can I help? You're good?
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
My mom bought this at an art auction in the 60s where no one knew who George Brock was.
Oh.
So she got it, I think, for about $60. Now, you can see here, if I get it in right, it was made in 1973. And it is one of, I'm holding this over my head and guessing. It was originally made in
20,077.
Yeah, it was originally made in 1931, but printed in 1971. And it's 10,000 out of 20,000, George Brock. So it's a lithograph print. I would say more important than any Robert Bateman print. But let me get back on track. There's a couple things happening here, and I think you're right. And you have to also say this is a combination of artists right here. This is a printer. This is a photographer.
Photographer, yeah. And the artist that made the actual sculpture. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say this is a printout. It's a photographer. It's an art collector, probably an art historian, and the sculptor, and passing of time. So there's a whole family of artists here. There's here too, but not as much. Like I get a closer feeling about this. This one I don't connect to very much at all, right? And so
exactly, yeah, me too. Doesn't mean a thing. It's just a picture from the time before photographs that people with money, did.
Before you say too much, just bear with me for a second, okay? Because you might change your mind about this. I don't look at this and think to myself, hubba hubba, I gotta have that on my wall. And on its own, this, other than my own interest in art history, it's hard for me to pitch this to the kids as its own piece, right? But there is something that each of these contains that put them in the art history books that makes them more important than the work that's existing in the world right now. That is the difference between a great piece of art that you might find in a gallery, a great piece of art that you might find on a street corner, and a great piece of art in art history. And this is the commonality of the pieces that make it into art history. Despite all the other politics that makes one piece pick up over another piece, what it comes down to is each single one of these pictures can be counted on any given page to be a moment in time. This one that you liked is several moments in time. This is a compilation of moments in time. This is an ancient person, not even ancient, a person from the 1800s, early 1900s, took time to sculpt this. A photographer took a photo of it.
Yep.
Somebody collected that photo, and then somebody printed it and put great care into this printout. I do tear these pages out. What will happen is we'll end up sacrificing these books to art creating. And I apologize. This isn't me being like a book burner. This is me like
No,
the art pieces. But
that's
this is several moments in time. This is a moment in time. This is a moment in time. This is a moment in time. Especially have the words at the bottom to read and find out when and where and how it happened. When I hand these books out to my kids in class, they flip through them and they confirm that most of these pictures don't matter to them. When I ask them to look through these books in context of being a loaded moment in time, they find that they like 90% of the photos instead of 5% of the photos.
yeah.
That I find really interesting. It's kind of a piece that I keep to myself, actually, because when I get lazy, I just make a shape, and then I turn it into something that's decorative and you can put on a wall. When I'm working beyond lazy, I'm thinking about, my warms and cools in the shadows. I'm thinking about luminosity. I'm focusing on a really powerful light source. I'm thinking about a thing that's seen and not seen. And then when I'm nailing all the parts, the one thing that I save for myself, my little secret, is I got to stop and I say, if this is a decorative piece of paper that I can use to hang in somebody's house and make them happy, fine. If this is my core artwork that I would put in my core collection, it's almost always the secret. Like, the question I ask myself is this a moment in time?
Well, it's interesting what you said about the kids. They'll flip through it and not read what was said at the bottom. And then when they do that, then the pictures gain a little more context for them, and then it becomes a little more useful for them. Whereas before, they're just responding to a visual image without any context. And it's either going to be, yeah, I like that, or, oh, I'm just going to, fall asleep if I have to look at it any longer.
Yeah.
But then they read about it and they go, oh, well, that's kind of interesting.
Right.
Still don't like the picture, but the story's good. So the point in time thing that you're making is, yeah, it's quite valid.
Yeah. It's valid as a viewer. I don't like to tell too many people as an artist, because when I'm painting and I think to myself, so here's something I'm going to do. So I'm going to show this page out. For some reason, my wife loves these paintings where the lady cuts her husband's head off.
It's not her husband. She's killing the guy who's taking over her town.
Right.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
It could have been her husband too, but what the heck?
I also have
Someone needed to die.
It's not her husband. She keeps her husband's head intact by killing Holofernes.
She keeps her husband in a box by the bed.
He's happy. Everything's fine.
I didn't know you were going to take that so personally.
I just mean it's not her husband.
Okay.
Sorry.
There are days where I feel like you're trying to dismantle my head.
Yeah. I'm also dismantling my head, though, at the same time. So it's like working out stuff.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of art history, and this is something I do when I'm taking a shortcut to wanting to capture a piece of space and time. I can either take this and try and make a indigo forgery of it, and then it's not so much me copying a painting but creating a forgery in a different vein, or I can take this and try and modernize it, which actually is presenting like and challenge to me like, what would be the scenario where somebody's getting decapitated?
Do you want me to tell you the story?
I would love you to tell me the story.
Would that help you make it?
Can I also point out that we've ignored some of Neil's comments, and Neil means so much to me, and we have to celebrate Neil's acceptance into something that matters to Neil. I'm going to wait for permission to tell people about that, but I got Neil here, and Neil's going to try and explain to us in person how it could be intimate. I would love that. Why don't you come online now and tell me how it'll be? Once you come and say that to my face, Neil. But congratulations, Neil. Some pretty amazing news. Also, it's 7:56, so in an hour we're gonna have another mini auction because we're raising a little bit of money for a good friend of ours who lost a partner, and I don't want to give too many details about that away because it's private. But you'll just have to trust that we're going to auction some pieces off for some gift cards and throw those gift cards in the mail. I'm going to go to the washroom, I think. If I do that, will you tell the story?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Are you going to tell it loud enough for me to hear?
Sure.
I'm going to leave the door open.
Sure.
I'm going to get arrested.
Oh,
Can't see into the bathroom from here.
I'll
but
just give you a quick recap when you get back.
what can we recap now?
Okay, so Holofernes was a guy who was going around and taking over places.
Can I tell you what I think of every time you say that?
Holofernes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is when you proposed to me. Yeah.
Holofernes.
Because we went up on the roof, you sang me a song, you bent down on your
my
knee,
knees.
and you proposed to me, and I picked you up and I said, "Get the hell off your knee."
Off your knee.
Get the hell off your knee is what I said.
Hell off your knee.
A couple
That's so
days later,
funny.
somebody said, "Did you tell her yes?" I'm like, "Well, I thought it was implied."
Yes, you gave me a big kiss, and it was so sweet. Holofernes was going around taking over towns. Very icky mindset of ownership over everybody
Right.
around him.
Like taking my favorite clothes.
And he came to Judith's town.
Judith!
And you don't mess around with Judith, who is very protective of her family and her place. And he wanted to spend the night with her. And so the only way to kind of get close to this king was Judith was allowed in his chambers.
Mm-hmm.
King or leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there's a woman holding his head down. She is her like I would say handmaiden, or like someone who was working in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like assigned to hit this space too.
Mm-hmm.
But he was this invading force, and Judith is decapitating him while he was sleeping. So the idea too is Artemisia Gentileschi is pretty special as a painter because she was one of the only females that was like ever registered with her own name as like a painter. And so she often portrays women either overcoming situations of like intensity, brutality, either overcoming them or like dealing with them, or like as a source of strength. So like she painted a beautiful portrait of Mary Magdalene, kind of almost in like rapture, like a really beautiful, powerful painting of Mary Magdalene, self-portraits even. So like I really love the painter, and I really love the story of Judith and Holofernes.
Get the hell off your knees.
I love that. That's really funny. Also, the other story, I think I prefer this one because it's that idea of like using the tools that you have to be able to like protect people around you and like do what you can. And that's kind of, I guess, like a theme that we're like thinking about in these days is like, what tools do we have at our disposal, and how can we use them to like protect the people around us?
Because we were watching Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah.
And there was the female character ends up laying down with the bad guy that was mistreating her.
Well, and again, taking over like that.
But you understood that scene, and I needed it explained.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it.
Well, and I think, yeah, like the different experiences in different situations. I like when you ask stuff, and I like watching movies with you. M is for movies. I like watching movies with you, or like reading books, because we both have very different experiences with like the stories. And like
so I have a pretty good understanding of people when it comes to like what they need, how to deal with them, and what's going to happen next, right? Like you and I are different in the sense that you're constantly surprise people and what they're going to do. Yeah. I can feel it coming before it happens, but the thing I'm not good at is understanding why they want what they want, and you're way better at that than me.
Right, that's interesting.
Because I'm like, why would I know what's coming, right?
Yeah.
I know when to duck. And like, so when we talk about it that way, it's kind of like you're kind of surprised that a bad thing was going to happen. I totally knew the bad thing was going to happen, but it's harder for me to understand why somebody would want that. And you're better at breaking down like.
Yeah, like, of course that was the next logical step because of this. And you think about like choices available, and you think about like, yeah. No, it is interesting. I was curious of the time frame and the space that.
Theo, I'm going to temporarily mute you till you're ready to talk because I hear a lot of clicking. Is that cool?
By all means.
Where are you? Also, if I'm ever like heavy breathing or, like if you can hear feedback on me, let me know. But and then as soon as you want to talk, just let me know. I think you can click yourself back in.
I can click myself back in.
Okay. I'm going to cut him off a bit. You're reading out loud.
Assyrian. So he was an Assyrian general.
Yeah.
Besieging her city, Bethulia. Interesting. Yeah, I got it. See, and that's the thing is like art history class, this stuck with me because I think whenever like I researched it on my own after, and then I like things really stood out to me and stuck with me. But like I wish to take another art history class because I feel like I would do a better job of like you said, even looking at things in a different context, like in their own context, and seeing that like a different value in them. Because maybe when I was younger,
I'd like to take an art history class. I think I would be pretty unbearable to have in an art history class. You know what I mean? Like,
but would you get like?
Would I be sitting in the back row and they'd say something and I'm like, that's bullshit? Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
That's funny.
Like, as much as I tried not to,
yeah,
it would be like, no, that's coming. Where were we when somebody yelled that's bullshit and it was really funny? Might have been in my class today.
That's really funny. Yeah, because I don't recall.
I think it was my class. I probably should have said something.
If it was like a good...
It was like a good zinger.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes those things are warranted and it like furthers things like connections or stories.
I might have said like, I'm supposed to be mad at him, but he's pretty bang on.
It is interesting. But like, again, context, right? Like context of a painting, context of a situation, like of people's words.
Right.
Did you make that person really happy?
Yeah, their kid's tickling.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That made it way less scary.
Or more scary. You ever been tickled?
Yeah, actually, and held down and tickled is actually very scary.
So there's like layers
what if
to
you
this.
pee? What if you pee?
Right.
Sorry, you were saying.
Was I?
There's
I think I was
layers
just
to
painting
this.
these tickles.
Oh.
No.
Painting these tickles. Oh, are there 10 tickles?
No. That joke is so over. I got a new joke. I got a new joke now. Guys want to see a video? Yeah? Too bad.
Life as a puppet means I have free will, but I'm still subordinate to whoever is controlling me.
Is that the trauma talking?
Is that the trauma talking? Life as a puppet means I have free will, but I'm still subordinate to whoever is controlling me.
Is that the trauma talking?
Is that the dragon talking?
Well, is it?
Do have a hand up my ass.
You need to express your feelings.
I am expressing my feelings. Look at my eyebrows.
You don't exactly have eyebrows.
See what I mean?
What do you want out of life?
Peace. Purpose. A spine would be nice.
You don't have a spine.
Well, I've got a wrist. Got some arm bones.
True. Yeah.
Who's flushing the toilet?
What are you thinking about?
The afterlife.
Like heaven?
No, like a garage sale.
If you are rich and I am goat, are we still married?
Hey, listen here. I don't even care what people do behind the fourth wall.
Are we behind the fourth wall?
We're fourth wall adjacent.
I have no excuse for that.
It's really funny. We're trying. Well, not we're trying. The absurdism is really leaking.
No, that was actually funny. I liked it.
Kelly, when you use the word actually, what are you implying?
It was good.
That's so funny.
I say the other stuff isn't funny. It's okay if you do.
No, it's good. It pertains to my puppet. He complains about a hand up his butt too.
Yeah, right?
That's funny.
I am so pleased.
That was really
It dates back to something that Frank Oz said in defense of Ernie and Bert when people were sexualizing Ernie and Bert. And I don't think Frank Oz had any problem with being sexualized in the way he's being like the popular culture was like giggling about Ernie and Bert being lovers. And I don't think Frank Oz cared either way what the orientation of the puppets should have been. But he was irritated that people were sexualizing his puppets for the sake of politics. And he'd said, listen, these guys are puppets. They don't even have butts. And I do think that there's sort of something to be said about allowing people to identify for themselves. And I think often when you step in and you make up these narratives, I guess that's the thing that's really bothering me about the politics right now is so far, I find I like Mark Carney. Am I going to marry Mark Carney? No. Am I going to stand in a court of law and insist Mark Carney's the perfect guy? I don't know Mark Carney. I just said so far I like Mark Carney. And then I get all this like feedback from people about how they're like, did you hear he's evil? And I'm like, you better check your facts before you start sharing stuff because I'm allowed to like somebody and I don't even have to vote for him. I don't even have to vote if I don't want to. I'm just saying so far I like him. And then people get they get all like super defensive and they start sending me this like hate mail, not hate mail, but like their rhetoric about this guy they don't know. And I'm like, I haven't even made my mind up yet. I'm just saying so far, I like how he looks, you know? And that's so scary to people that they just start like sending me like details that they think, well, maybe he did this or I saw a picture of that. And it's like, Jesus, like, I hate it when people talk to me about me that way too, right? So you're only making him more endearing to me. Like me and Mark Carney have a bunch of kooks that keep like slamming us if they haven't even met us.
Okay.
Maybe we're brothers.
Yeah.
But even just saying I don't hate this guy means you're going to get a bunch of people sending you like funny videos about how much they hate him. And they're allowed to. Like you're allowed to hate whoever you want. Go ahead. It's better if you don't. But you should know people before you hate them. There's so many people I've got such good reason to hate, and I don't hate them.
I feel like
You know,
hatred also has like such a
Shelf
weight
life?
to it.
Yeah.
It's just heavy on you.
There are a few people I hate. Should we talk about them?
No, let's keep this.
I hate Jordan
Positive.
Peterson, and I don't know him, but I hate what he does. And I read his book, paid for it, and I did really dislike Rob Ford, bless his soul. And I do identify as a Pinko commie, which is cute. What do you call us? Pinko commie bike riders. Talking politics, what's going to happen? But all I said was I like him, and then people start getting all up in the air about who I'm going to vote for, and whether they'll say I'm spreading misinformation. Like, it's not misinformation. I happen to like him.
And it's the other people that are spreading.
I know, but I'm the boss of what I like.
Yeah.
You can't tell me I'm wrong about that. So
Totally.
Whatever. But I don't hate any of those people. I just hate when people try and control my mind.
Yeah. Don't control other people.
I can barely control my mind.
Yeah.
You remember that one time I was acting up and somebody in the audience said to your mom, "Get your son-in-law under control." She's like, "I've tried. No one can."
That's the cutest.
That's the best thing anybody ever said about me.
That was a cute moment. Mama.
Extra cute because it was true.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Chester would be so pleased. Scott would be so pleased. So many of our bidders would be so pleased at your mom's age.
Oh yeah, my mom's turning 69 today.
There was a tissue somewhere nearby. Do you remember?
I threw it out.
Oh, well, I guess it's the sleeve.
There's a
It's okay. It's indigo, and so is my sleeve.
Oh yeah. That is so beautiful.
Isn't it? Isn't it such? Okay, look at this. What do you think?
I love it.
Kids tickling. I think I might write the words down.
I love that. Tickling.
Tickles.
And it's from memory.
I spell tickles.
T-I-C-K.
Yeah.
L-E-S.
Tickles number 1.
Oh, look, you have mood, movement, mystery, memories.
Do I have moment?
You definitely have moment.
Do I have the word moment written down?
No, but that should be.
So that was like something so deep in my mind that when I put it to words, because of the letter M, I was like, oh, that's actually what I try and remind myself to look for when I'm looking at art history.
Yeah.
Is the reason they get trapped in the books. Theo's right, partly because the politics of who decides what goes and what stays. But that's also the
moment, because it's what's important at that moment.
It's a tracking of a moment in time.
Yeah.
I got 2 paintings I'm pretty happy with.
Do you want to show your other ones from this week that you experimented with the indigo?
At 9, we'll have a mini auction.
But do you want to? Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's show them. Okay.
I want to.
So Felix was sucked into. Don't. Oh. I love you. Sometimes when you hand me stuff, you push too hard. We watched 7 Samurai, and Felix watched it from beginning to end. Did not complain about it being black. This is my first indigo painting.
Look at the goat.
Some shepherds. And then right after we watched The Magnificent Seven. And what I was struck by, and I was talking to somebody at school about this, I told them about The Magnificent Seven. And they said, oh, quick, show them A Bug's Life. I'm like, well, of course you've seen A Bug's Life. Yeah.
Dude.
Very nice. And then what happened? Well, because I noticed when we rewatched Magnificent Seven, I keep thinking that like A Bug's Life and the every single show has done the same episode of that. Like we're watching. What made me think of it is we were watching The Mandalorian, and they had an episode where they did the montage with the
training the farmers
montage where they did I would have described it as Magnificent Seven because that was the Americanized version. But the thing is, of all those films that copy the Magnificent Seven, they didn't really train the farmers to fight.
Yeah.
That training scene where they trained the farmers to fight came from the 7 Samurai.
100%. Yeah.
that part was kind of abbreviated out of the Magnificent Seven. Then like 100 movies and TV shows took that narrative and tell the story where the band of rebels trained the farmers. The farmers beat off the locusts or whatever, and then they all come together at the end. And each time they reference, oh, this is just like the Magnificent Seven. It's actually not. It's like the movie that the Magnificent Seven was drawn from. And we're so engrossed in that narrative that I've watched that 12 times, and it was the first time watching them back to back that I was like, they actually took the farmers fighting the bad guys right out of it.
The training montage right out of it.
Well, because the farmers didn't fight. Oh, they did a little bit, but the training montage.
They already knew they're fighting. The
Right.
farmers in the Magnificent Seven had pitchforks and bar stools, and they didn't have a training thing.
Did they have a scene where they were in the Dell? You don't want to play? Wasn't there a scene where they were in the Dell?
I think Dells are in Ireland.
Yeah, but was there any scene where the farmers...
There was no farmers in the Dell.
Were in the Dell.
No, there's no...
The farmers were in the Dell?
No, there's no farmers in the Dell.
Hi-ho, the Mario. Weren't the farmers in the Dell? You saw that coming. You're just like, I'm not biting.
Like Felix, no. Come on,
please,
no.
Come on! Come on!
Please, no.
Okay. Do I have more videos? What time is it?
No, I think that's pretty good. We did 3 this week. Do you have another?
I have another one.
Are you serious?
Would I lie?
No, you don't lie.
Here we go.
Hello.
What are you doing today?
I'm playing video games.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
What about making puppets with your family? Did we watch The Seven Samurai yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Mm-hmm.
What did you like about it?
It was cool. 9 out of 10.
What made it a 9 out of 10? You can't just say 9. You have to tell us about it. Look at my hand.
It was really good. It was really fun and good because it was a samurai.
Right, it had samurai. That's one thing. But like, what else about the film was good?
I liked it when they train people to fight.
Oh, the training montage?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the start of a lot of other films, right?
Yeah. An episode of The Mandalorian that does that.
Like literally everything.
Yeah.
We want to watch some of the movies that were inspired by that movie? If they're in color?
Sure.
And who made that film? Do you remember?
No.
Kurosawa.
Okay.
Pretty cute.
And then that's like in the olden days because that was right before we watched
Later
The
that
Magnificent
day.
Seven.
Yeah.
And I was so amazed when he bought into watching The Magnificent Seven. I was like,
He was like, "Oh, this is like this," and it was shot for shot in some cases.
Yeah.
Like he was really calling out the
shot for shot up until the middle, and then they condensed the ending.
like intermission time.
Like they might have ran out of funding. Yeah, it did, because this Magnificent Seven didn't have an intermission.
Look,
What is it?
Mom made a magpie for H.T. Little magpie.
It's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal. Look at she kind of created it herself. So she's been using these books, but then she took all the parts from the different birds and she made her own little magpie for H.T. Mom.
Because I love magpies.
Because Rich loves magpies.
Because she has a gun in the kitchen to shoot them.
And it's a big deal because she made it. And I think she's like, I didn't know there was the white on their wings and they're so beautiful. I was like, you
Saucy minx.
You saw the beauty in that beautiful bird, hey?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And that's the thing about art too. It's like when you take time to look at something and like you said, that moment, you actually do see things differently after that.
Right.
You can't help it.
Well, I would say explaining to the kids in my class that each painting is absolutely a moment in time.
Yeah.
They definitely saw the artworks differently.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What moment in time should I have here? How about right now?
Oh.
I went through my social media and started deleting all the mean stuff I said about the wonderful American president because we're going to go to Disneyland in the summer and I don't want to get arrested at the border. Not that I would, because I've only ever said nice things about him.
Right. But just to be extra careful.
Yeah. And then in talking to people, like, you could probably just save that up to the cloud and then put it back. I'm like, no, you know what? I think I've said some things when I was feeling heated. Some of those things didn't need to be said.
And that's like a nice thing anyways, like to think, like we were talking about hate earlier, like
Right.
just to be able to clear, like clean slate,
Well,
clear things.
I used to get so worked up because he would do these things that no human would do.
Mhm.
And I would get so worked up that people weren't outraged by it. And I would write on my social media, do you know that he did this? And then what would happen is the people that like him were not outraged. In fact, they love it. They love that he does that. And so all I was doing is advertising for him. And that's more why I was glad to remove those posts, because it's like, you know what? There's no point in telling people he's bad, because I also like that even in Canada, when you're not supposed to share your politics, even in Canada, it was like kind of iffy whether it was socially acceptable to say something detracting about the American president because it was too close to the Canadians. You know, if you're a Canadian conservative and you said something about Donald Trump, it was like you're attacking their politics. Like, well, first of all, that's a different country. But now it's kind of understood that it's okay to be critical of the
guy.
Trying to think of a way to describe him.
Cheeto.
American president.
Cheeto.
What'd you say?
Cheeto.
Cheeto? The big cheese.
The large cheese.
Don't we often say the big cheese when
Yeah,
we're talking about somebody who's got a lot of power?
Totally, yeah.
And then all month I've been dreading this big announcement. And it doesn't seem like he said very much.
Yeah.
A lot more of the same.
Yeah. It's a pretty like apt image that you pulled actually when we're thinking about all of these things. Themes of like dominance and
Domino.
And the idea that people think they can take over other people. And I think that's a pretty apt image to be working with today.
We're going to go to Disneyland this summer.
Yeah.
We are traveling exclusively in the well, as best we can, the states that are most sympathetic to our beliefs. And I do find this, and that people get upset about this, I do find Disney to be part of the good team. And actually, there's certain things that I'm so baffled when people say. I'm just so baffled. And last year when we were going to Disneyland, this kook was like, came by and she was like talking all this crazy stuff. And then she's like, you're going to Disneyland? I was like, yeah. She's like, you know about Disneyland, don't you? She gave me the wink. I'm like, no, like, tell me about Disneyland. She's like, they're bad. They're like really bad. There's a lot of bad stuff. And I'm like, what's the bad stuff? She's like, I don't know, but it's really bad. I'm like, what makes it so bad if you don't know what it is? Like, a lot of people say. And as soon as somebody says a lot of people say, I'm like, I'm out of there. Right?
Well, because it's just like that guy. He says like, people say.
Yeah, but
a lot of people say.
Well, and it came down to that I started to realize, like that country is split in half, right? So if there's an event that people are talking about, it's one side or the other, right? Like somehow they politicized like a pop star dating a quarterback, and you get one half of the country that all vote the same way are rooting for one football team versus the other half of the country is voting for the other football team. And then like it's become like football is like really, and dating and pop stars are all kind of lobbed into, you can look and see which news sources is supporting which side. And then you can trace back to the political narrative as how did these guys become the Democratic football team, you know?
It's really like sad that it can't just be humans talking to humans or watching a sports event or it's
and also that said,
yeah,
my politics are nobody's business.
Yeah.
But then when I see artists that aren't, taking a stance, I really feel. Now, this is a personal thing, right? I'm not saying anybody has to say or do anything or speak out. But when I see my contemporaries being super quiet, I feel a little bit like, dude, like you have a voice.
Ai Weiwei.
Yeah.
All art is political. And also the idea
Fly your freak flags, guys.
The idea of
But no, okay, can I restipulate
if
that
you have
again?
a voice, I think it's important you use your voice.
But I'm not asking anybody to speak or do or think anything.
No.
It's just that inside I do feel a bit of a disappointment when I see people like trying to remain neutral. And that's their business, but like I got to admit it's a bias that I don't like to it irritates me.
Oh, that's okay. I think that's why we talk here is like to get our ideas. And then maybe people are able to synthesize their own feelings too. Right?
So it's a shame that Jim Henson and Frank Oz didn't have a chance to tell a story about some puppets with some diversity. But also the people that would giggle about Ernie and Bert weren't the sort of people that were supporting what they assumed to be Ernie and Bert's lifestyle. They were the kind of people that were condemning and judging Ernie and Bert. So first of all, it shouldn't matter, but second of all, they're puppets, and they're kids' puppets. Mm-hmm. And sometimes aren't those the first people to sit there and talk about the, I don't like to say the word. When they're always attacking people for being a an adult that should know better.
Ding dong?
Yeah, ding dongs. Like the worst kind of criminal. That don't take care of children.
Oh.
I don't like that word. That's how like square I am.
Oh, that's so funny. That's
but
okay.
Like,
you don't have to say it.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Well, I also feel like when people like throwing that word around, they're like, what do you think about the algorithms and what's going to happen in your feed? Like, I don't like to take the risk that those things are going to enter my feed. I talked to Felix about this sword store that he likes, and the sword store's sales come up.
That's good.
What do you think of this? Did we show online what the
it's really beautiful
indigo we're using? Okay, is it only $8.29?
Yeah.
How many paintings will I get done tonight? We do need people to start mailing us letters and asking for our paintings, because the plan is we want to give them away. We're giving them away, trying to get people to take part and mail us letters. And they have to do that because I'm stockpiling a lot of paintings.
Or even like messaging us.
No, I want
David
letters.
messaged us and I sent.
Which David?
Carter.
Yeah, well,
and
but he's mailed us stuff before.
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking about like I want people to play the game.
Actually, yeah, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with Gorilla House and.
Yeah, no.
Do you want me to put this over here because it's really.
What?
Flat, laid flat.
No, because the paper's curled. I'm just getting the bulk of. I'm actually drawing with gravity right now. It's got some gravitas. Oh man, I got this one kid that didn't used to take part much. He's kind of a easily distracted, cheeky person. And today, because I've been really giving him a lot of positive. I've been giving him a lot of positive feedback about how he's doing so much better lately. Mm-hmm. And to hurt my feelings, he said, "Well, I'm going to drop out of this class and take something else." So I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." And he was just like, "I thought you'd beg," because I'm always telling kids that they should be going for 5 credit instead of 3 credit.
Oh, I thought you'd beg.
He's like, "I think I'm going to just go with 3 credit." I'm like, "See ya." And he's like, "What?" And it is a mean trick when
reverse psychology.
Well. I'm like, "What are you taking next semester?" Like, "Oh, I'm taking, cooking." I'm like, "That sounds great. Not art, hey?" "No, I'm not going to be at art." I'm like, "Oh, you're just saying that to hurt me." But they love cooking. I actually really helped out with my cooking teacher because she was talking about how kids didn't sign up last year. I'm like, just here's what you do: is they sign up next week, start cooking like cookies and bacon alternating for the rest of the week, and her courses are packed because the week before she signed up for courses,
so
she
good.
started cooking things with bacon and things with cookies. But luckily, not bacon cookies, because that would be weird.
I don't know. That would probably taste really
Don't say
good.
it. I rip up books. Look at each one of these.
Who is this?
What? Can I tell you something?
Sorry. It's
I'm
just so
actually doing something.
I knew that.
I know.
Oh,
Get lost. I love you. No, I'm actually. Don't.
I love
You
art
can look.
so much.
Don't touch my book.
I love it.
Look at dude. My little brother could do that. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I love
Duchamp.
True. Look at that wing. Look at that smarmy
This guy's
bastard.
such a
Yeah. Sir Anthony Van Dyck.
We saw these in LA, right?
And Sir, yeah.
There was a whole show.
Yeah.
Didn't love it. Didn't love that show.
Gosh, I have never seen that before.
I know. Well, this is a good book because it's
Sir
alphabetical.
Jacob
So it really, it's not based in time at all.
Right, because generally
And
it's
so
chronological.
Yeah, and
not.
so it's actually really nice the way it kind of bounces around.
Sorry.
What?
That was
What?
just like the coincidence of.
Oh, you saw something? Do you want me to go back?
No, it's fine. It's all so funny.
Okay. Do I have time to paint the raft of the Medusa?
Frick yes.
It's a moment in time. Here we go.
Oh, I love this one. Just so beautiful. This is really healing having this time. To focus on beautiful things. To focus on the moment. I'm very grateful, Rich Teru. I'm grateful to have this time to reflect and to just be in the moment. I miss for MoMA. We're going to see the MoMA in San Francisco.
Here's a funny thing.
Yes.
Donald Trump took something very dear to our hearts today and inverted it in such a bizarre way. Did you see what he said?
No.
He said inclusion is divisive. And I'm just like,
Oh.
no, but listen, okay, there's two things. One, it's so contrary to what we believe in that it's gone full circle into interesting, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, it hits home because we've invested so much in inclusion, but it's also so random.
No, it's not. We've talked
Can
to
I finish?
people like that before.
Yeah, but can I finish?
Yeah. And then Amanda said something I want to get back to after too. You just keep.
It's so random that it actually fits with our Dada absurdist talk.
It is very absurdist. Yeah.
But not in the way we use absurdism. Right? We're trying to use absurdism as comedy, not as dogma. But his dogma is absurdism. So it's almost like we should have more in common. as absurdists.
We
Now,
are
what were
both,
you- what
we
were
are
you
both
gonna-
absurdists.
What were you going to
So
say?
first, Amanda said, LOL, do you ever go back looking through a book for a certain artwork and realize you've already ripped it out? That happened with the poem.
No, I want to answer that specifically.
Okay.
Okay. Amanda, are you there? I'll go shopping with Jesse, and my intention is to find something that she'd put on. Actually, so I used to play this game at Value Village called the Ugly Shirt Game, and whoever I went to Value Village with, we would pick out each other clothes, and the idea was you picked something that would look awesome on your friend or partner, only they would have to see it on the shelf and think that's the ugliest thing in the world. So the ugliest thing from the rack you find that you actually that would look phenomenal on your friend. I know I messed that sentence up. I'm okay with that. So I go to the store and I look for something that will look phenomenal on my wife and go, hey, can I buy this for you? She goes, I hate that. And it doesn't go farther than that most of the time. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
And then she will go and pull something off the rack that she has 7 of in the apartment. And I'm like, dude, like you have that times 7. And so when I go into a book, first of all, I never go into a book looking for something specific. I wish I did, but I don't. I wish I had like that kind of like, ooh, maybe today I'll do a Jericho. I don't have that. But when I do go into the book and I see a picture is missing, first of all, I feel confident. I go, oh, wow, I would have picked that twice. So I like picking. Well, it's the same with records, right? I have the same experience with records I do with these posters. Is I'll pick up a record and start going, this looks really good. I wonder what this is all about. And just like you have that, you might have that twice. I'm like, well, then I picked good. With paintings, when I open up the book and there's a gap and it was something that I have already painted before, I will think to myself, oh, wow, like great taste, Rich. I'd like to do that again. But I'm actually kind of thrilled to see that it's already gone. So that's one of the advantages of tearing apart the same book, right? I'm like, oh, it's gone, which means I picked a good one last time. And then secondly, like I said, I'm not looking for stuff that it's like it's reassuring to know that I've done it before rather than upset that I don't accidentally do it twice. So that's like a win-win for me. But it is funny because every time Jess finds something she likes, I'm like, dude, you have that sweater. Like, please don't buy that again. You're better at that now, hey?
Mm-hmm.
But you have never like really bought into like I picked the ugly shirt and you go, why don't you try this?
I'm also getting better at that because I realize you have incredible taste.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And I often know that I pick the same thing over again out of comfort and safety.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe neurospiciness.
So for me, and that's funny because you want to have something exciting and fresh. Whereas like Felix, I really like having like 50 of the same shirt, right? Like as a kid, when the Fonz opened his closet and he had like a whole rack of white t-shirts and 2 black t-shirts, I was like, that's the way to live. I can't wait till I grow up.
Yeah.
Because my mom certainly didn't help me shop that way. But
yeah,
that seemed like the way to go. I'm actually wearing a burgundy shirt today, and I did because I noticed the last 5 broadcasts I was wearing the same black t-shirt, and I do have more than one t-shirt. I just like the black
but
ones.
like you said, yeah, you have. There's a boy I teach that has Felix's same sweater.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like, ah! I told him about
What size?
He's little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so cute.
Felix wears the same sweater every day.
I told him that. He goes, oh. He like looks so concerned for Felix.
What grade is he in?
The one.
Right.
He was like
well,
I
because
like
in grade
sweater,
1
but
you believe everything your parents say.
Right,
So if that kid
totally.
wanted to wear the same shirt every day,
oh, what
he
if
would
I
have been
planted
taught
the
that it was
seed?
wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Felix did to me. Shauna, Felix's mom, was like, can you talk to him about not wearing the same sweater every day? And I was like working it through my head, like, how will I tell him you can't wear the same sweater every day? And I was like, actually, I wore the same sweater every day for 5 years in art school, and I haven't been so happy since. So I ended up going on the internet trying to find that sweater. We found it in Ireland, and I waited for a month for it to arrive. And I wouldn't say I do wear it every day, but it's more like a jacket that I'll put on, and that's what Felix says about his sweater. Come to think of it, it's not really like my underlayer. It's like wearing the same hoodie every day. And his mom didn't mind him wearing the same hoodie every day, but something about the same sweater every day didn't suit her style planning. Did these guys eat each other? Is this Cannibal Corpse? I think I will send this painting to Bella if I can find her. For a couple reasons. One, to thank her for the recording she gave us. And also because there's a funny story about Cannibal Corpse. Can I tell it if Bella's not here? I think I will. One of the teachers I worked with found a picture for Easter of Jesus. And so it was like one of those things in the gym where everybody's meeting to talk about Lent or something, right? And because she was in a rush, she didn't check to see her content. And it so happened that it was a pretty decent photo of a painting of Jesus, but he did have a cigarette in one hand and beer in the other, and possibly like a doobie in a sleeve kind of thing. And so Bella was like so outraged. She's like, and she's like really playing up to like I've never been so insulted. And I was like, really? She's like, really? I'm like, really? She's like, really? I'm like, are you wearing a Cannibal Corpse t-shirt while you make this argument? So are you really that delicate? And we had a good laugh over that.
That's pretty cute. She's good people.
Yeah, good people.
That kind of goes back to the third man, too.
The Third Man. I just read this amazing book called The Third Man. It's about kind of like those moments where you hear voices and they walk you through a problem. It's happened to me a couple times in my life. I don't usually talk about it too much, but then I did see a reference to it on the internet. When I heard other people talking about it, it stopped sounding as crazy to me as it did in my head when I was keeping it to myself. And the narrative is I was rock climbing without the proper tools and without any food and under some bizarre sticky conditions. And I was about to give up and fall off a cliff. And I heard a voice in my head that said, "You need to climb right now."
That's one of the paintings we have here, actually, is your stories like that.
Yeah. And then another time I was fighting a bully and I was choking him. And there's a crowd of people screaming, "Stop, you're killing him." And then I heard the same voice, in this case from a friend of mine, Ken Swan, said, "Rich, do you know what you're doing, Rich?" And I can say that I did not. Where do I keep losing that book? It's right here. Amanda, just for you, I'm going to put this one back in here. I might paint it again. I never thought I'd finish that raft. I'm really fast. We have 15 minutes.
You can keep working. Like, you're done?
That one?
Yeah.
What do you mean I can keep working?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's done. Ooh. Saucy Minx.
Is that an Olympia? Oh,
I am getting to the end of paintings that celebrate or involve the male gaze. And I'll tell you why. I believe that the AI image tools have been so trained inadvertently through the lens of the male gaze that what I'm seeing and am sick of is the reoccurring images that are clearly AI generated images. And even though AI isn't sensitive enough to know what it's doing, it's perpetuating this male gaze, right? So me trying to capture a moment in time. I might take an instance where a person is sitting and listening to a vinyl record player, right? That's a moment in time for me.
Yeah.
I see Paul Newman sitting in his living room listening to his record player, and I feel inspired to paint that. I see somebody I don't have a connection to, don't find interesting, listening to records, like an ad or stranger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't connect to it.
Yeah.
I see Marilyn Monroe sitting and just gushing over her record players, knowing that she was an introvert. And that was a moment where she was able to just be at home and be herself,
Right.
even though there's a photographer taking photos of her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel compelled to, that would make a nice painting, a space of moment, space and time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I open up my Facebook and I see like an image of a girl reading a book in a library, and I go, that's a nice moment in space and time. But then I realize, that's AI. And then I realize, she could do a few buttons up on her shirt. And I realize the AI isn't doing that for any other reason than it just exists so consistently in our society that it doesn't even know that's just how like pervy artists draw things. I'm doing a female nude talking about pervy artists.
You're not pervy, you're talking about
right. But the lens of the male gaze
mm-hmm.
has perpetuated the AI artwork so completely that I really do feel like we've run out of interesting things to say about, for instance, like a lady posing au naturel. And then you wonder, is this beautiful because it's a female body? Is this wonderful because it is a series of nice shapes? Is this beautiful because of my conditioning to think it's okay to view things through the male gaze? In this case, I was like, oh, those are nice shapes. But I am getting to the end of my career of painting beauty because I feel like that is overdone.
Can I tell you though about what I see your artwork is more about like you're not upping or only focusing on the beauty, you're getting to something deeper. So like when you're looking at this one, you're not accentuating the like it's not demure, like you're painting that like stare that she has is quite like intense.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say like whenever you go to do something that is like beautiful and like demure, there's always an edge to what you do. Like there's like a, I don't know, you're not going into it blindly and you're not going into it like celebrating only superficial, like you were talking about earlier. It's like the things seen and unseen. I feel like you already have taught, like we've talked about the last time Trump got into
I stopped painting.
You stopped painting
female nudes.
Nudes. The idea of
completely.
The idea of exploitation, or the idea of taking advantage, or the idea like you never did take advantage, but the idea of that you could be associated with that even stopped you. And so I feel like I love how you're always thinking about what you're painting and why you're painting it. And like you said, like the imagery doesn't have the same resonance with you anymore even. So then you're thinking about beauty in a different way. You're thinking about, I think as we age too, we think about beauty in a different way. And I think so you're just evolving and you're just
one time
it's not that you don't paint beauty though, it's that you're growing.
Yeah, one time Robin got in the car and I was driving her across the city. She's like, "Can I have aux?" So I'm like, "Sure." So she plugs her phone into my car music source, and this hip hop came on, and I was like, do you think that this is like healthy for your psyche to be listening to them speaking this way about young ladies? She's like, Dad, this is NWA. No, it wasn't NWA. She's like, Dad, this is Run DMC. I'm like, oh. I was like, I 100% am the reason why you're listening to Run DMC. I actually didn't like NWA when I was young, but I really did like Run DMC. And it was only as a father that I was listening to Run DMC thinking, maybe this isn't what she should be listening to, which was interesting as a dad. And this is like, she was an adult when I said this. So like, it wasn't like, me with my 10-year-old getting protective about the music. It was more like, do you go to sleep with this on? Like, cause how do you not let this sink into your, into your psyche when they're talking about using the B word and stuff like that?
Yeah, but that's you're always doing the best you can. So then you hear it with different ears. When you hear it the next one, you're like, oh. And I think that's the thing, is like you do hear.
Where did you get this crap? She's like, I got it from you when I was a child.
And you hear it with different ears all of a sudden.
Like that one year, because I did not have money when Robin was young. And like if I got her a Christmas present, it was instead of eating at some point. And I was at the store and I found a Blink 182 album I could afford. And Robin and I like Blink. And I buy it for her without like previewing the song because I didn't want the CD. I didn't want the package to be damaged. And to my surprise, they'd written a Christmas song on the album that was not very Christmassy. Right. So I talked about a couple things when I was talking about those quiet lessons I've learned and the generation gaps. Yeah. And one of them was what you had observed is that the kids are way more comfortable with square than we are.
Square composition, yeah.
Yeah, because 100% because they grew up on Instagram, but also they're more comfortable with a white background, right? Mm-hmm. And I only just recently stopped trying to talk them out of leaving the background white because I realized that's my own bias from my own childhood, from my own set of art rules that I grew up with. And I'm not acknowledging so there's the Audubon photos like this bird book, which was part of what I was doing, part of what you inspired me to think of, but also not intruding their art development with my bias. My bias says you don't leave the background white because it's unfinished, but their bias, their aesthetic says, I like how white looks when it's on the internet. I like the white background on Pinterest or Instagram. It works for me. It's interesting that this lady had these curtains to deal with because Jess almost didn't finish high school because she wouldn't paint curtains for her art teacher.
I talked about that today with my grade 6s.
Yeah.
This one girl goes, wait, you can fail art? And I was like, well, not here, but in high school, yeah, you can.
Well, I have to tell all my kids when they change to a different school, like,
yes,
other art teachers.
I warned them in grade 9, like.
And I hate it when I hear from the high school teachers, what?
That's so good. Sorry, keep talking.
No, what did I do?
What?
I rescued this from the male gaze.
100%.
Because she has a
feather duster,
bag of a feather duster.
Or a fan.
But instead of a feather duster, she's got another head, which I thought you'd like.
I do. I do like it. Sorry, did I cut you off again?
No,
talking about
you didn't cut me off.
Warning about.
You took part in the conversation.
I love you.
And you're advocating for you against yourself.
No.
All right, I've got a sugar ton of papers here.
Well, here.
Are there anybody with us? Is it 9:00?
Yeah.
All right, let's just. Where's my phone?
Rich, can I just say you've made such a stunning watercolor. Like, you pay extra for the indigo that goes like this. And like the settling and the like separation and the sediment. But you made it. Did you show people? Can I show you the? I don't know if it would come out even very good on there. Can you do something with this drip? I did it. I did a bad thing. I did a bad thing.
What?
This drip.
What am I doing?
This drip. Can you deal with it? Because you. I don't know what to do. It's. Thank you. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Look, I made a moon. Ah. I could just keep going with this. I love this color. I'm really into it right now.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to post on here. Friend, not grind. Does that say auction?
Action.
It is an action.
Hey, you.
Does it make sense? I'm going to say if it doesn't, they're not really my friend. How's that? If you don't know what I'm talking about by now, probably not my friend. Friend, how's that?
How's that? How's that?
Yeah. I just got a really nice couple emails this week. All of them about my book. Isn't that nice?
Really nice. Did you see my moon?
I'm sure you're more.
I'm gonna keep going with
Okay.
the green blue.
While we're waiting for people to show up, I think I will show one more movie. Which was your favorite tonight? This one? No, this one? No, this one. This is a repeat.
Actually, that's really, it's so beautiful, like the quiet and the calm that we were learning about, like different movie makers this week, and the different styles that you're experimenting with is so beautiful.
Let's have a mini auction.
Okay.
Okay.
Here
So we currently, as far as I can tell, only have 2 people with us. But that's okay. Can you pass me one of the pieces from over there? Oh, those are wet, right?
Yeah, these ones are ready.
Alrighty. This isn't for us. This is for a friend who lost their partner. So if you want to send me a $50 gift card to, like, I don't know, like a food place, what would, like or Walmart or an
Like
art
a grocery
store,
store, art
you
store.
could trade this indigo. What was the name of this again? Raft of Medusa. For $50, and then we'll call this number 1. So 403-629-7424. This I'd love to keep, so don't bid on it. If you'd like to send us a gift card that we can give away to a friend who's in trouble, the 7 Samurai gift card. If you're interested in that, you could bid a gift card for 403-629-7424. And we currently have in the envelope $250 worth of gift cards for this friend of ours. This is a painting of a gorilla action, an ape who's planting seeds under the pavement in a park. Some gorilla landscaping.
Yeah.
Okay. This here, if you're with us, are 2 birds and a Coke bottle. And you could bid on this for a gift card. And if nobody bids, that's fine. Or text 403-629-7424. Can you grab me those ones I can't reach?
Yeah.
And then those ones.
Sure.
I didn't do this one, the tickles.
Yeah.
Can I see the 2 bird one again?
It's a magpie, and I can tell you the name of the other bird. And
Seagull.
It's not a seagull.
No? What is it?
Well, I was just about to tell you, but I can tell you later. However, I'm going to tell you now since you asked. So, a Clark's Nutcracker.
Oh, we have those here, I think, don't we?
Well, okay, it's interesting you should ask, because this book is Oliver's. And when Oliver was about 10 years old, he picked this off the shelf and he wanted to learn about birds of Alberta. And Oliver and Rich would go around and take pictures of birds. 10 years later, when Felix was a certain age, he ended up with his own Alberta books of Alberta birds. And so the reason you've seen those around here is because it comes from a book about Alberta birds. But this painting, I borrowed heavily from the bird anatomy of the Alberta books, Book of Alberta Birds. I painted 2 birds in a bottle. And if you'd like to send us or talk to us about a $50 gift certificate for something practical, like a grocery store, or this person that we're
Trying to support her.
Supporting is an artist, so an art store. Just contact us, and you can have this one. Are you interested in this one, Kelly?
Thinking about it.
Sure. And then can you pass me that? All right. So Jess is rereading. What's the name of your book?
The Last Unicorn.
The Last Unicorn. And sometimes we do books together where she'll read out loud to me, which seems kind of like pathetic and lame. But on my part, like, honey, will you read me a book? But she's reading me The Last Unicorn, and I was inspired to paint this. And actually, the anatomy of the unicorn was described really well in the book. So there's that. These are a couple of minotaurs, hanging out, waiting for a moon. And there's that. This is my very first indigo painting with the indigo paint or pigment that I made myself. So earlier I showed a video of Jess and I figuring out the pigments, and this is what I was working on. So there's the initial chicken scratches here. You can cut that off, and then there's a couple sitting on a hill taking a peek at a goat.
So can I actually have the magpie one for 50?
Yeah, but I don't want $50. I want a gift card that I can throw in the mail to an artist who lost their partner. Okay.
So should I send you a Visa card or something like that?
What does that mean?
Like send like a gift card for like Walmart. Or...
Yeah, can you send us a Walmart card for this?
Okay.
And I'm not going to touch it. It goes right in the mail to her friend. It'll maybe at some point maybe she'll feel like coming on and talking about what happened, or maybe she never does.
Okay.
She might never know where it came from. We're kind of trying to think of a way to sneak the cards to her.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
Okay, so that's yours. Thank you for that, Kelly.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Kelly.
you so much.
And what about the unicorn?
I love that one.
Tell you what I'm going to do, Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm going to put these two in an envelope for you, and you let your own heart decide what you do. Okay.
How about $25 for Walmart as well?
75 in total?
Yep.
That's more than generous. I love you so much.
Okay.
Is that all of them?
Okay, these are from previous.
So I'll text you later.
Yeah. Here, ask me. So since we haven't been auctioning off the works, just one more there, or you don't want to share it?
No, that's not. Because I bought this one for a gift card last.
Since we haven't been auctioning off the works, I think I'm gonna keep working on this and send it to Bike. Somebody wanted this. I'm waiting for an address in the mail. This is a decorative piece. It's like I did it without thinking. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't hate it. It's pretty organic in the sense that it kind of made itself, but it doesn't. I don't think it captures the space and time. I'm not particularly proud of it as an artist, but I don't hate it. So now you know that. I don't know what happened here. The male gaze of a fellow on a bicycle. Sometimes I just kind of zone out. My hands. A goat. I think I was just testing some things. This one I'm actually going to keep.
Yeah.
It's Jesse and Rich.
Yeah, I like that.
This is what I look like to myself on the broadcast because I'm often looking down. And so I see myself looking away. And so when I see myself, I'm not engaged. And then when I'm engaged, I can't see myself. Here's a piece. I kind of think this might have a home. We're just waiting on the address to come. This is my teddy bear. And I want to mail this to somebody that made a cute comment about it, only I don't understand the comment. So I got to track them down, get their address and send it to them. And then maybe, but I've got, how many is that? Is that like 30 or 20?
20.
I've got 20 paintings just sitting here because I'm still figuring out what to do with my artwork. I've got 2 over there to show still too.
Do you want me to grab?
Yes, please. For the people that are watching this after the fact, if you want to contact me and see if we still have these pieces, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, because that's
What's the name of this piece again?
Judith and Holofernes by Artemisia
Right.
Gentileschi.
So, like, this is a pretty abstract piece, but she's cutting his head off. So, it'd make a nice anniversary gift if you have an anniversary coming up. And this is
That one's more a Salome.
something that kind of started out as the male gaze, but I shifted it into, instead of holding a feather duster, she's holding the same decapitated head. I'll just put that over there because it's starting to drift.
Often Salome is more referenced like that, like more seductive, because she did the Dance of the Seven Veils and then lulled John the Baptist into a state, and then they decapitated him.
Yeah, decapitation. So if you'd like to contact us, 413-629-7424. We used to do this live, and we used to have a body of people. Now, here's one of the things. We could have easily transitioned 14 weeks ago into what we did online before to these. We could have had 9 o'clock auctions. The only thing is, I recognized there's an element of like addiction and gambling that went into the auctions we're having.
Mm-hmm.
And the sport of it, where people were competing to win the bids, struck me as maybe part of the reason why we shut the gallery down is we just didn't want to contribute to that dysfunction. Buying art's not a dysfunction. Buying art's not a dysfunction. Buying art's not a dysfunction. But when we were running these super elevated auctions, and it was life or death every week for 12 years, trying to keep the gallery open, and people were like literally selling their houses and moving into condos so they could help to support us. My conscience said somewhere along the line, it'd be really nice if we didn't have to be dependent on money. So I think we could have kept the auctions going and had better momentum. Right now, we're getting around, I think we have 9,000 viewers a week. Around 14,000 people are seeing us. It's probably more like in the hundreds of people that watch the whole episode, but people are watching the whole episodes. If it strikes you that you're watching this episode and you'd like to contribute to this act of giving we'd like to be part of, let me know. And we'll see what we have left. Otherwise, I'm happy to keep these pieces. And as we evolve, I'm going to figure out where these pieces are going to go. Maybe I rent a warehouse and put like 100 paintings on the wall. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
What about the show?
What?
Like what? Like a vendor thing, like have vendors and stuff,
Nope.
like a mini art thing with vendors.
Nah. I don't like vendors. I'm sick of vending.
Well, other artists, I meant.
I will go visit you when you're vending. I love you. I don't ever want to vend again.
I'm at the cat show the following week.
Sorry, what?
I'm at the cat show, not this week, but the next weekend.
Nice. Very nice. I don't want to do that. I want to give my paintings away. And, you know, the 2 paintings I'm giving you, I would 100% give to you, Kelly. And it's nice that you're going to make some gift cards for somebody that's going through a rough time.
I'm actually, in June, I'm helping 2 other artists at the Lilac Festival. They're going to join me at a tent.
Yeah. I think that's amazing, and I wholeheartedly support you. I never want to do that again. But I love that you do it.
Can I sing you a song tonight, Rich, too?
Yeah, but are we shutting down early? It's 9:16. I got another painting in me. I'm just kidding. Yeah, are we shutting down a little bit early?
I don't know.
It's not a terrible idea.
I'll sing, and then if anyone wants.
What are you singing?
I was listening to Brandy Carlisle today while I was in my room, and it made me feel really happy.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Could we set you up? Can we set you up for singing a song?
Sure.
First of all, would it help you to stand?
Sure.
Okay, why don't you give me a minute
Sure.
to hook you up? I'm kind of pinned down here again.
Those ones are mostly dry, right? So do you want me to help you?
No, you entertain the people.
Here. Well,
You're entertaining the people.
are you not entertained?
Yeah, no, put those down. Pay attention to the people.
That's a good.
So stand up. Are you standing?
Yeah.
Is that the right height? I can't see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to do some stuff with the mood lady.
So,
No rush, just talk.
Brandy Carlisle is one of, I think actually one of my favorite singer-songwriters.
Do you remember how you discovered Brandy Carlisle?
Well, it was interesting because I had an album of hers on my phone, and then you were in the car driving to work, and you said, "Get this song right now."
Work, and I said, "Yeah."
I just heard this on the CBC, and
I often call you when I'm driving for help because I want to know more.
Right,
about,
and you're like, "Can you look this up?"
But sometimes I'm like looking it up for me, and sometimes I'm like, Jess would dig this song.
And so I listen and I get into like cycles of listening to her and like different parts of what she's doing. But then the other day we put on our music. We put on a movie, and our projector is hooked up to our Apple thing, which is sometimes our music starts playing immediately. And then when we get to a movie, then we can push play on the movie, but this music's playing. And then the song started, and I was like, it hit me so hard, and I was like, I really, really, really love that. And it was Brandy Carlisle, and then I was like, got back into that. That's why I listened to her today when I was in my room.
Also, there's that epic concert with her. And,
yes. That solidified my love of her, I think,
Right.
because she did this epic comeback album and tour concert with Joni Mitchell, and that was like a very important thing in my life. I cried.
Everybody cried
a lot.
But you know what? It was good that we built that like understanding of her right before. Did I just unplug the camera?
No.
Right before you really connected to that experience with that concert, you'd also kind of grown into a pretty knowledgeable fan of Brandy Carlisle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so blue? Oh, I got a blue light. Okay.
Ready?
Am I ever? Actually, before you start, could you just scratch my back? Oh my God. Hubba, 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 hubba. All right, it's we're gonna stop a little bit early tonight. So while we're at it, I'm gonna say goodnight to Theo. Good night, Theo. We love you. I'm gonna say goodnight to Kelly. Good night, Kelly. We love you. I'm gonna say goodnight to my arms. Bang. I'm gonna put you up all by yourself. And I also want to focus on. Don't start yet. Bam.
Aw. Okay. Ready?
Nope.
It was
I just
pretty.
want to get this crap out of
It
here.
was pretty sweet today. Well, I was singing, and then this morning, a student came in and she was helping me with some stuff before class. She said, "I love when you sing in art class." And I was like, "What? When do I sing in art class?" And she's like, "When you're looking for something or when you're like thinking to yourself, you sing it." And I was like, I thought I was very grateful for that student for that observation, because I feel like
I do that too, but my songs are like, "I'm pushing the cart, you better get out of my way. Gonna run you down, everyone will be mad."
Ready?
Mm-hmm. Look into the camera, even if you have to pick up the words.
You carry me along with you, keep my spirit strong, you do. Maybe I was meant to be under your lock and key. The hard times that I had really don't seem all that bad. Yesterday is long ago and far away, and I'm beginning to feel the years, but I'm going to be okay. As long as you're beside me along the way, gonna make it through the night and into morning light. There are things I've said before, I don't mean them anymore. Yesterday is long ago and far away, and I'm beginning to feel the years, and I'm going to be okay. As long as you're beside me along the way, gonna make it through the night and into morning light. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, with angels by your side, the Spirit's there to guide. I'm beginning to feel the years, but I'm going to be okay as long as you're beside me along the way. Gonna make it through the night and into morning light. We love you so much. I had to try not to cry the whole time.
You can cry. Sing that song. Cry if you want to.
I won't tell you not to. I won't try to cheer you up. I'll just be here if you want me to be near you.